Hi, we're going to do our third pop-up talk today, and it is with Marcela Cintra.
Hi everyone, I'm also going to talk about developing as an ELT professional, and I'm going to give some tips on how to do that. However, I was thinking of tips that would actually appeal to any teacher in any given context. And they don't actually have to do with taking courses or reading books or the sort of conference you go to, but they're a little bit more open in a way, and they have to do with me. I mean, we cannot talk about other people, right? So the first one is stay connected. I'm connected here, but that's not exactly what I mean. I mean connected meaningfully with other people, with other professionals who have done what you want to do, or who are doing what you do as well. That exchange of ideas is enriching to us as professionals. We can change perspectives, we can do things differently, and we can learn from each other, and we can also learn about ourselves if we talk to somebody else about that. Another thing is dare to dream. Dreaming is good because it helps you think about something you've never done, but you wish you could, and maybe that idea of dreaming of being there will lead you to the steps that you need to take to be there. And it could be anything. I mean, it could be teaching a more advanced level, it could be teaching at university, a different context, or anything. But dreaming is essential in professional development. Be bold, take risks, like standing in front of a camera or going live to Preston's there is not something I feel comfortable with. But we have to not only dream, that wouldn't be my dream, but be brave to do what other people need as well. We need to be everywhere sometimes, or at different places, or talk to different people who are not in the same room. And this is one of the things we have to do if we want to talk to people who are not in the room, standing in front of a camera. Talk to them, right? Read. But reading goes beyond reading about the gurus in ELT, but reading opens the mind. It could be reading fiction, reading autobiographical books, biographical books, reading children's books, because that will bring repertoire to what we bring to our classrooms, culturally speaking as well. So it's not only about theory, but also to enrich our repertoire of what we listen from our learners and what we can give them as well. Try to vary your context in teaching. So if you're teaching a group of teenagers, try and teach adults at a certain moment. Or, in my case, I teach in a language institute, but you could go to or observe lessons. You don't have to teach or have some experience there. It's not always possible. But observe lessons in a different context, in poorer area with younger kids, people who don't actually go to school or cannot go to school or a regular school. It will depend, but vary the context in which you are. That will give you other skills. You can develop other skills. And that will bring you to experimenting with new ideas in your own context. So what you bring from a different context might apply to your own context or not. But that thinking or reflecting about what you learn in a different context will give you different ideas. Then we come to reflection. Reflect about what you're doing in your classroom, what you do every day, what your learners are responding to what you do every day, because learners are doing, they give us feedback all the time. Whether they say something or they don't, they're giving us feedback. And this is something we need to reflect upon, because it's not always obvious to us what they're giving us, and it's always useful, even if they are silent. All that will help you, and this is something a friend of mine likes very much whenever I say this. If you reflect, if you struggle with all your brave ideas and dream, that will help you achieve what yesterday seemed impossible. And professionally, that's a lot. That's a step further in our career as a teacher, as an ELT professional. Something else we have to do sometimes is dare to be different. We're not the same as the person sitting next to you in general. And how can we be the same in the classroom as a teacher? We can't. But it takes a lot of courage to be different, or to wear different personality or style in teaching, right? Observe, not only observing lessons, but observe what other people do, what other successful people are doing, or not so successful, because that will give us insight on what we don't want to develop as a teacher, right? Start deconstructing beliefs in your observation. Sometimes we take it for granted, take something for granted, feel it's obvious for us as a tutor, a trainer, or whatever, and that doesn't make sense anymore, either because the world changed, or because your context changed, or because learners are different from the learners you had last semester, right? Meanwhile, doing all that, don't forget to have fun. It's important to have fun when developing, otherwise it's just suffering, and change is already painful. We don't need to forget about fun. Finally, take opportunities to practice what you're learning from your reflection. And most important of all, fall in love. Fall in love with who you are as a teacher, fall in love with your profession, with your learners, with your lessons, aim higher, and have confidence in what we're doing. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.